I'm recording it because I want to document this and put it on the website so that we can have a resource for people who want to know details of where the pay comes from. So I'm going to show the website of a person that I was working with who had asked me this a couple weeks ago, and she said I could use her website. When we do the recording, I'll take all the names out. This is a new person, Kalina, who's been in ASEA maybe about 2 months and has reached Director 300, maybe 700. And you can see here from her back office, here at the beginning of the week, she's pretty close to Director 300 for this week. So her question to me was, I'm looking at my dashboard. Let me pull up a dashboard here. I'm looking at my dashboard and I want to know where these volumes come from and how this all works. So most people just do the activity and things work and you advance and rank and everything's fine. And you can look at your widget on the front page that I showed you over here. In this area right here is the widget. You can see that and it shows you what you need to do to get to the next rank. But some people want to know more detail. So here's for the people that want to know more detail. And to tell you the truth, even after 5 years, I didn't know it right up front. I have to go in and dig into it and kind of figure it out all again. So here we go. What I want to show you is like a progression of rank here. And you can see at this point, this is 5 weeks ago now. And I believe Kalina started the week previous to this. But you can see her first week was as Director 300 was like 3 weeks in to the business. Then it went back. This is the paid rank here, and this is a lifetime rank here. So once you reach Director 300, your lifetime rank remains Director 300, but your paid rank can go up and down based on where the volume is for that week. So you can see she went up and down Director 300. And here she is now. So here's your weeks up here. And the current, starting with the current week, which I have the week numbers in here that I got from the week chart that you can get from your library in the back office. And it goes back to 5 weeks. And these are the same weeks down below here, of course. What I'm going to do is show you a little summary of how this works. I'm going to split out the current week volumes from the total volumes. And we're basically going to ignore all this bottom part and kind of go through the progressions here and show where all the numbers are coming from. So if you get into numbers or you have people that get into numbers and you want to know this is great. If you don't really get into numbers, like I said before, don't worry about all this because you can just look at your widget that was on the home page, and that basically gives you everything you need to know without going into details. So let me just go to the totals here again because that's what determines the rank. So you can see the week that Kalina went Director 300 down here. Her left and right, the requirement for being Director 300 is to have 300 and at least 300 volume in your lesser leg. So you can see her lesser leg in this case was the right leg, and there she is at 310. So that's why she was Director 300 this week. The next week, she didn't have 300 in her lesser leg, so that's why she was just Director. But the next week she was Director 300 again, and you can see why here, because here's the lesser leg in this case is 410. So she's working her way up to Director 700. So that kind of is a quick overview of how the rank progresses, but let's see where the numbers come from now. And I'm going to go to, this is the home page, and then I'm going to go to My Reports, and I'm going to go to what's called Volume Totals, which I hadn't really known about for a long time, but it's getting to be a more and more useful report for me. It's not one of the ones you need right away up front, but it's good for looking at your group And it's especially good if you need to look at details like this. So it's under My Reports, Volume Totals. I'm going to click on it. And basically, you just click Show Report. You can actually put in the person you want and show it for people in your downline too. Let's go ahead and just show it. And what it comes up with is week by week. So here's the very first week Kalina started, and it progresses on through the weeks since then. I believe the dashboard went to week 42. Let me just see here. So it did. It went back 5 weeks to week 42. So you can see again the progression in paid rank here, where she was started as an associate, and lo and behold, she became director within 14 days. So she'll get the director bonus, and then the 300, and then back to director, and then to 300. So you can see that progression here. What we're going to look at, let me pull my pen up again. What we're going to look at in particular here is left volume, and actually the total left volume. And we're going to look at the right volumes, and in particular the total right volume. And that's pretty much what we're going to focus on here. So the first week, of course, you're just starting, and in this case, there wasn't much going on. She had a total left volume here of 187. So the difference between the period and the total is the period is the current week, the current period. The total includes any carryover, and I'll show you how that works here in a minute. But in this case, the period, the week's volume is here, and we're not necessarily going to look at the personal volume in this case. That's customers and auto ship and any orders you do personally. We're not necessarily going to look at that. We're going to start with what's shown on a dashboard. So this is the week that showed on the dashboard first. And you can see, I want to just show you where this 3750 came from, because you can see something here. So let's just do that. I'm going to hide this, delete it, hide it. And what I'm going to do is actually click on that 3750 and watch what happens here. Period left volume 3750. So that means her whole week she had 3750. And where it came from is this person, which in the recording I'll erase the names. But let me click on that number now. Anything that's underlined you can click on. So you have to kind of drill down. The point is, this is the week we're looking at here. 10/19 was the order date. This is the next month's auto ship essentially. So now what we're seeing here, I don't see that 3750 anywhere. But this is kind of why it's interesting. So the point is we can actually see what her order was. She actually is showing a volume of 125. Let's click on this invoice and show you what happens here. I'm going to open it in a new window and pull it over because I don't want to show all the details here, but when it opens up, I'm going to show you here. Okay, so I'll bring this back. So here's this order for the person, and what happened is this was her sign-up order. So here's her starting kit. It costs in Canada, it costs $48, but there's no volume from the sign-up kit, the business start kit. So you can see volume here, item volume, total volume. And then she ordered a case of bottles and one tube. So when you add that up, that's the 125 volume. And that is what was showing over here. See, the 125 volume is what was showing. I think you can see my mouse. Now, the question is, remember on the dashboard, it only showed 35. And this is where it gets a little tricky initially, because what happened here is this is an enrollment order. And what I'm going to do is pull up the fast starts here. Well, not quite yet, but I'll just explain it. If you take 125 and fast start is paid out of this, they actually, the person who is enrolling sees the full volume because that's called, you could say, a qualification volume, but basically the person gets activated, qualified with a minimum of one case. So this is a little more complicated because it adds in a tube, but one case of product will keep the person active at 100 points for the first month, even though the actual volume that's shown on a dashboard and that the upline sees is only that $30 per case. So let me show you the pay plan. This gets a little tricky, but this is how it works. Let me find my little pen here. Where did that go? So you can see here's the fast start bonuses in here. And if you don't have the pay plan, you need to download it from your back office library. And you can see in this case, one case. So when a person enrolls with one case, fast starts are paid out to the enroller and all the people above, according to the monies here. And since the fast starts are paid out, the binary volume, the volume that shows in the dashboard, is reduced. And that's reduced to the 30 points per case. And that gets complicated, and I'm not going to go into detail explaining that. I'm just showing you it. And that's why she actually, I'll go back to the dashboard, but I think it said $37.50. So $30 came from that one case, and the $7.50 came from the one tube of ASEA. If you take 30 and divide it by 4, that should be $7.50 or close, rounded off. So let's go back to that dashboard. $37.50. But here it is here in the dashboard. $37.50 gets rounded off to 38. This is that same week now. And what I was looking at was the volume totals report. And that was the $37.50 I was looking at. It's also shown in the dashboard, of course. So here we are. So that's the one I clicked on. In the volume totals report, I clicked on that to drill down, and that showed the actual order being full volume, because to that person who ordered it, it is full volume. But to everybody above, it's reduced volume. So that's why I chose $37.50. So that can be very confusing, and but I'm just going to show it for now. We can explain it later more. So let's look now at the right leg, just for interest. So here during this week, there's 100 volume on the right leg. So let's take just a quick look at that volume and see where that came from. I'm going to click on it. The same sort of thing happens where it goes to an order, and I can click on the volume for the order. And eventually this comes up and it shows multiple orders. But again, that week we're looking at was 10/20. So it's down here. Not 11/20, that's the current order. So 10/20. But here it's interesting because you see two things. One is a zero volume order on 10/20 that costs $54. And without clicking on the invoice, you could actually click on the invoice and see what it was. But that is this sign-up kit for Nadia. And you can see it's $54 Canadian. So that's her sign-up kit, zero. And what happened is she went in later and placed her first order. And lo and behold, look what happens. The volume isn't $30 for one. It's actually one case. I'll look at that. But it's full volume because it's not, no fast start is paid out because it wasn't placed during enrollment. It was a separate order for her case. So that's why it's showing as full volume. Again, this is very complicated for people that aren't familiar with it. To get more familiar with it, you need to go and watch the comp plan overview. So what I did is I just clicked on the invoice number here, and I'm going to bring that over, and it's going to show you here what that order was. It's essentially a case, but it was ordered as 2 bottles and 2 tubes. bottom line is it's 50 volume here and 50 volume here. But again, it's going to show full volume to the upline because it was ordered as just an order, not an enrollment order where fast start was paid out. Okay, so that kind of gives you a feel for how you can drill down and see where orders are coming from. And I'm kind of going back and forth on all this. Oops. Show report. So let me go back to the volumes report totals. So that's where all this came from, is that volume report. So I see a lot of people shaking their heads over there. It's pretty confusing, isn't it?
So Bob, you're saying that you won't get the fast start even if you put in your kit and a case, and then you can't order the 2 tubes, so you put it in separate. That's not going to be a fast start.
No, the bottom line is if you do an enrollment order, no matter, anything you order while you're in the enrollment order gets fast start. If you do an enrollment order and then 2 minutes later do another order, there's no fast start paid on it, but you get full volume.
Okay.
So that's the bottom line. So I'm not sure how these packages work, to tell you the truth, but if you order them during the enrollment order, then you get fast start. All right, so now what we're going to do, I kind of showed you where volumes come from. Well, not kind of, I did show you, and how to drill down and get them. And you can go back and look at this. If you really want to understand this stuff, make sure you go through the comp plan summaries that are posted. Let's get a new window and go to A-Team support and go to other resources on ateamsupport.com. Go to getting started. And here's a ASEA comp plan in detail that Justin Wilson does. And that's the one you really want to watch. And we're working on one that Trish is doing, but I don't think it's quite ready. I put it here for now, but I think for now Justin's comp plan might be best if you want the detail. It's also on your back office homepage, actually. So now let's show you how this works. It's kind of cool. Okay, so now we're going to go into volume totals and go through week by week showing how the carryover works. So we're going to look at left volume and right volume, these three things here. First, left volume. All right, so let's just go through this. We start the very first week with the total. Let's just look at the totals. We start with the total of 187. Okay, where did that come from? Of course, it's the period volume plus any carryover is equal to 187. So in this case, of course, there's no carryover. So watch what happens here now. The next week, so we're going up in weeks this way. So nothing gets paid out until a person is Director 300. And the first time there was actually a payout on, nothing on the binary commission tree, excuse me. Of course, you get your fast starts and customer bonuses, etc. right away. But the binary commission doesn't get paid out until you're Director 300. So watch what happens here. So this 187 from that first week gets carried over. You can see it here to the next week. Okay, the next week, again, we're not really looking at personal volume. We're just looking at the week's volume. So here's a week's volume of 37. If you add that now to the 187 that was carried over, actually, you have your new total volume here. And they round it off, but your new total volume here. Now watch what happens. That volume gets carried over to the next week because it wasn't used again. It's not at 300 yet. And now for this week, third week, you have the 135 here, and you add that to the 225, and lo and behold, that should equal 360, which it does. Now let's just stop here for a second. Let me go to the right leg now, because here's 360. So let's go to the right legs and do the same thing. Nothing here, so 0 carryover. This week we started with 100 plus the 0 is equal to 100. You see that? It's pretty straightforward once you get the hang of it. The 100 gets carried over. This week there was 210. And again, I can find out exactly where that 210 comes from by clicking on it and drilling down like I showed you. 210 plus 100 is, lo and behold, 310. So look what happened. Here's actually the minimum leg now is this one, and it's over 300. So that's why Kalina is Director 300 here for that week. The nice thing about Director 300 is you get the payout from, well, I still got those red things on there, but you get the payout from the Director 300 bonus for anybody you sponsor. You get the payouts from the Director bonus. So that's the reason on a week you are Director 300, it's a good week to be enrolling people because you get the extra payouts. Okay, so hopefully that, it really does make sense. You just kind of have to do it. And I'm not going to continue up, but I'll just show you briefly here. Let me erase these. Let me go to my pen. Where did my pen go? Here it is. Doesn't look like a pen to me. Okay, so I'm going to get rid of all these, and so I stopped here, and now you can see going up, this left volume, right volume. Just looking at the totals, so this side, oh yeah, let me show you what happened then. Sorry, I forgot about this. So that week now, let's look at the carryovers. Sorry, I should have kept that in there. Let's see, so here's 310. So what happens is that 310 gets paid out in the binary, and that's basically 310 at 10%. She'll get a $31 paycheck because the binary payout is 10% of the lesser leg. That whole 310 volume is used. So therefore, look what happens. 0 gets carried over because it was all used. However, on this side, the 310 of this was used for the binary payout. And look what, lo and behold, look what happens. 310 minus 360 leaves you with 50. So any unused volume gets carried over to the next week. So that's where that 50 is coming from. So it's really, really good as long as a person is active with at least 100 points every 5 weeks, essentially. The carryover keeps on going, and you never lose any volume. So that's kind of it shows exactly how that all works. And I could keep going through it, doing the same things, and you can see the next week, the 300 is met again, minimum, or 2 weeks later, or whatever. So any case, let me see here. I think that's what I wanted to show you. That's about 30 minutes. Perfect timing. So now we can get into detailed questions. Yeah, who has a question? Hannah?
Yeah, I have an associate that was right under me at the very top, and because of reasons, she was no longer binary qualified, but she stayed active the entire time. So
Sure.
It's like got 4,000 on both sides, and if she takes on a new associate, or if another associate who went inactive and now wants to go back on the product and becomes active with 100 PV, then that means that she'll start being paid on the 10% of the volume, the lesser volume, I think it is.
Yeah, for sure.
And she ended up and she has the rank of Director 300. That was her lifetime rank.
Yeah, for sure. So in other words, I think I hear you saying she kept active, but she fell out of being binary qualified, right?
Correct.
Yeah. So the volume will keep adding up there. And some people, actually, a good report to show that in, if you go to reports and go to Director 300 report, you especially need this when you're getting closer to bronze. If you go to this report, and I don't want to necessarily do it right now because it shows a lot of names, and drill down, click on the underlined things, it's going to show you anybody who has at least 50 volume in their lesser leg. And you can see, and it also shows whether they're binary qualified, active, and binary qualified. So a person who's active but not binary qualified, you'll see it there, left and right volumes. She could have 700 or more, or 1,000 volume in each leg, just waiting until she becomes director. So the definition of director is to have an active person in the left, a personally sponsored active person in the left and right leg. As soon as she either sponsors a new person or that person becomes active again, immediately that week she'll get kicked out to binary paycheck. I mean, I've seen people who've had $500 paychecks because they've had that much bank volume. So
that's what's going to happen.
Yeah. So the point is, it's good. It's why you want to keep active, but it's a good feature of the pay plan that you don't lose that volume, assuming you keep active with minimum of 100 points.
Right.
All right. So you can go into that Director 300 report. And if you see someone building up lots of volume, you can call them up and say, hey, do you know you have all this volume built up? And if you have someone who's close to joining or whatever, as soon as they become active in the leg that needs to be activated, you're going to get this nice paycheck. So yeah, it's a nice feature to talk to people about for them to be aware.
Is that only one time, or is that until that volume wears down?
Well, again, remember, once the volume's used, remember how I showed you, it's taken away. So any volume that's actually used gets taken away, subtracted.
Gotcha. Okay.
Bob, I have a couple questions.
Yeah. Hi, Mary.
Okay, great. Yeah, number one is, this is a great presentation. Congratulations. It helps a lot. But with this, the smart wallet, I have a couple people asking, said, where do we look for that? And is it on, do they get notified in email when they get commissions or, on their, whatever it is? And then does that email just kind of not come up again because they must have got a long time ago? It should be in their back office or where to find what they get paid and then to contact Smart Wallet.
Yeah, so that's good. Good question. So again, in A-Team support, let me just show this briefly. If I go to For Your Business, and I got to get some better headings on this, but I have kind of the headings are darkened or bolded. But there's one on tips, things to be aware of to get maximum pay. And that's exactly what I mentioned in there is once you get your first, qualify for your first paycheck, CS Smart Wallet will send you an email, just like Mary Todd said. So you want to make sure you don't have, that you allow the emails from notifications to the CS Smart Wallet to come in and they don't go to your spam. But yeah, I mean, here's where you go to get your paycheck. I mean, once that message is sent, it's up to you to do something about it. Where you can go is to my reports, and I'm not going to do it here because I don't want to show too much detail, but you go to my reports and look at earnings summary. It's very simple. And that'll show you how much checks you've gotten paid. And if you have not gone into your smart wallet, it's sitting in there waiting for you to move it out. And if you don't understand that, go to that email that you got from Smart Wallet and it'll explain how to do it. And if you can't find any of that, you can ask your upline or call support. The CS support can help you definitely with that.
Yeah, and Bob, what you said is so true too. This it's really inspirational to keep track and get better acquainted with our back office because my sponsor used to call me all the time and say, "Do you realize how close you are to getting da 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 da?" And it just really struck a bell. No matter how busy you were, you went, "Whoa, alert!" And it really just kicked me over to get the extra volume or whatever. So it's inspirational to pay attention to Director 300 reports.
Yeah.
Plus, for those just starting out, if you only have like $50 or $100, take it out because they charge you a monthly fee of $5.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, I'm not sure about 5, but here's
No, it's not $5. It's
a
I'm
dollar.
sorry for interrupting. It's $2 at the start of the month, and then thereafter it's $1 a week. I think it's very reasonable. So you'll see $2, debited.
So basically,
taken
and
out.
I have tips here to show how to minimize those charges. Right here,
Oh,
how
I
to
think it's right, it is
tips to
$2.
keep the fees down to a minimal. Right here in A-Team support. Again, other resources, and go into for your business. Okay, any other questions?
Bob, this is Ann Jennings.
Yeah, hi, Ann.
If you have a minute, why don't you real quickly go to your in your A-Team support back office there, where you've got that enrollment sheet, the sign up sheet. That is a good tool to know what is available at enrollment. And so if people haven't seen that, they need to know there.
Yeah.
And what I like to do is I have taken that and I double side print it. And so we have it when we're talking with people. So it has the enrollment options, and then on the back side it has their enrollment information. So if you don't mind sharing that, I think that might be useful to people.
Yeah.
Is that getting started?
Yeah, so on ateamsupport.com, go to other resources, and it's actually in 2 places. It's under most used because it's one of the things people download most. So here it is, actually right here. It's #1 most used sheet, but it's also under download print tools because it's something you can print out. But if I just click on it here and take a look, show you what. It's pretty big. Let me make it smaller somehow. Where is that? Oh, I know how. There we go. So what I did is I basically just copied right out of the back office. Well, it's from, there's a sheet in the library that shows enrollment options. I think that's where I got this from. So I took it right from ASEA. So here's the enrollment pack options. All right, any other questions?
Where are these recordings, Bob? Because this is great.
Sure, so go to A-Team support again and click on other resources. And so the way we did this, Trish wanted to make things more simple, but
Thank you.
when you make things more simple, some things get harder. So what's simple is there's less menu items, and but basically everything is put under other resources. Everything else is under other resources. So that's a big full page. That's why I put these menus here. So what does he ask for again? The movies. The movies. Yeah, so I put them under getting started. And here they are. So we're going to be working on this too, because we have the 1, 2, 3 on the front page, and that's what I point people to for getting started. And this is the generic. It'll fit in with pretty much anybody's upline team system, or with Genie, or with the getting started that ASEA provides with their starter kit. So the 1, 2, 3 we have fits in with pretty much everything, but we're going to be enhancing that over the next month or so, I hope. But right here is what I just call them basic trainings. And part of it is archives of these Saturday trainings. So now you can see what it really looks like. So website basics, binary basics, mastering the tools, the comp plan, details, why to Zoom, keeping track of contacts, and I will add this one that we're doing now down here somewhere.
Great.
And call it details of getting paid or something, I don't know. Okay, anybody else? And by the way, what you do, it says it here, but these are really small and you don't really necessarily want to watch them so small. So you click on the full screen icon at the bottom right of the YouTube box. So once I start playing one of these, there's a full screen icon right here, and that takes it full screen. And we'll go ahead and get started. So this Then I can go back out of exit full screen. Okay,
Is
yeah,
that
if it's Thanksgiving, in any case, just look at the schedule. So we have the schedule on A-Team support under events. And if you click on calls and webinars,
You have it also on your Monday morning briefing.
yeah, and the email.
Yeah.
So here's the basics webinars. So next week normally would be mastering the tools, the way I have it set up now. I have to look at the calendar, but if it's Thanksgiving, I won't be doing it. So I'll put in here though that we won't be doing it. But okay, I'm going to stop recording and
Bye.
sign off. Bye, everybody.
Take care.
Bye bye. Thank you. Thank you.